what you never want to do is take B and just hold sight like this. You will get destroyed if you hold like this. Maybe if it's like a 2v2, maybe you can hold like this, but like if you give the enemy team all of this space and link, you're just going to get collapsed on because there's 3 different angles they can shoot you from. We're going to talk about Lotus today. The meta has changed a lot on Lotus. There's a lot of different comps you can choose. The best one, in my opinion, is going to be something like this, where you have KJ, Omen, Teho, Breach, and Raze. So Raze is going to be the best duelist, has insanely high pick rate, is really good with the grenades. The nade is probably, and the satchel are very important. For example, something that I'll show you guys, a lot of times defenders will put smoke like this up, but a Raze satchel can satchel past that and basically nullify the one way. It's also really valuable to get rubble space, so you can satchel here. The nade is really good at clearing pesky spots on site. Like if you bounce it off this wall, like right here, there's a lot of utility you can throw off this wall when you hit C. Like this is one of them, the Tejo thing. But you could also throw a nade that lands here. That clears a lot. A nade back here will also clear a lot, or any kind of util back here clears a pesky spot there. So Raze is going to be the best duelist for those reasons, and her ultimate is really good at helping you clear sight. You could be very methodical at how you clear sight. You can satchel in as well with ult, and that's very effective. Okay, so that's why Raze is good. Why is Breach good? Why do you think Breach is good, guys?
There's a lot of
It's
lanes you can use it on.
Yes, photo.
you can combo with other util.
Yeah,
Like you can just like get free rebel control, or like you can even fight C main or B main. Like you can just find every mate with it.
yes. The Breach stun is like the best part of the kit for this map. Lotus is a very default heavy map on attack, and the stun is insanely good early utility that you can use that recharges. So if you want to default by taking C main space, you can like satchel across with Raze. You stun this off rip, satchel across with Raze, and it's very hard for the defenders to aggress towards C. The same is true on A. You can stun a very common angle and then have Raze put pressure with a satchel, and just that alone can put a lot of pressure on the defenders. It's also great on defense to stop pushes. So if you stun like this, it's very strong. Breaches are going to be, if you're a breach player, listen up, you're going to be playing B a lot because your kit can be used across the map. You can stun this way to stop a push. You can stun here to stop an early attacker default or push. You can stun here to delay a C push to help your KJ, who's probably going to be on C a lot. Okay? So Breach is super good for these stuns. And what do I always say about initiators? What do you want to do with your utility? When do you want to use it?
You wanna use your rechargeable utility at the beginning of the round, or like at the beginning of the round, and just like save your normal utility like flash and aftershock for later.
Exactly, yes. We want to use this. We don't have to use it right off the rip. We could wait a couple seconds, maybe to bait out somebody, or if we want to wait to use it. But typically, we can use it early to. I mean, you could use it here, but mostly you're going to want to use it on A almost every round. Just kind of switch up the timings a little bit, switch up where the stun is a little bit, and that can help you out a lot. And then on attack, it's just helping you get space early, and then you can use the rest of your kit to attack the site later in the round, like these flashes, these clears. There's a lot of corners on this map that you can clear out with clears. A lot of things you could stack, which are very powerful. So Breach is going to be super important for that. Why is Omen so good on this map? Do you guys know?
His
The
blinds
blind.
go well with a lot of things, and he also can one-way C main. Like he was way better before because he could go like one-way A main, but he got nerfed now.
Yep,
So
photo.
like
His blind, you could pair it with a bunch of util, and he could also use his own util. You could pair it up with his TP if he wants to blind and then TP on top of rubble
Yep.
in A.
Yeah, you're talking like this. You can go like here and then TP up. Yeah, there's a lot
Yep.
of strategic elevation that's very strong on Lotus. TP going up to rubble, and like basically what I'm gonna have you guys do whenever your IGL calls an aggro A on defense, it's very common to call an aggro A, is you're going to have your duelist and your Omen try to get up, and you're going to try to insert your Omen. Talked about inserting. You're going to insert your Omen up onto rubble, and it's just a very hard spot for the enemies to clear. Pro players, they know how to clear it because they've dealt with it a lot, but you guys aren't playing against pro players. This is going to be a really pesky angle, and they're going to have to use a ton of util to get this guy. Like, pros have like a Viper molly that like lands here, but it's very hard for common players to clear a spot like this, especially when they're assisted with other bits of util, like we said, breach stun, Teho mollies. You can use these to pressure early or deny if the enemy team is trying to Omen TP across. This comp just has a lot of denial utility. And I know Team Elite, you guys have figured out your comp already. It's just the same thing but with Chamber, and it's not going to change really much of how you play this map. I'll just say that. So
If you're pushing up like A main, is it better to use Teo mollies or the raised nade?
it's going to depend on what you want to use. I would say Teho mollies are probably going to be better because they recharge. But it depends. You kind of have to adapt to what the enemy team's comp is and their play style and what's been going on. And guys, don't fall into the trap of doing the same thing over and over again, because then you become predictable. Because what the enemy team is going to see you do 10 rounds in a row is, Teho molly this, and you don't change it at all. They're going to find a way to counter this. They're going to wait it out, or they're going to TP past it, and then now there's someone rebel, and we're scared. So change up how you use your util, but really, if you're going to aggress a main, you need some sort of pressure. Breach stun is kind of, you need that basically every time. But other than that, if you want to throw Teho mollies or you want to throw a nade, that's kind of your choice. So, in say you think they're really going to aggress it, you can do something where all the space is contained, right? So, yeah, so that's really good. Omen, like we said, used to be a lot more powerful because of these one-ways. You could put a one-way here. You could put a one-way on C to stop this push. You could put a one-way here, here. There was just infinite one-ways you could put up. But now you just have to put them up on something. So this one-way is really good. And then say you go A. We'll talk about this in post plants, but you can throw a smoke up here and keep upper control. So yeah, that's the comp. For any like substitutes, I think this is what our teams are going to run outside of this chamber. But Fade is very strong in this map because she has 2 drones, and you can use these drones, to clear a different space and rotate. And Viper is also super strong, but it's kind of like Split. Like we were playing Split, we had 2 duelists because it was just easier for us to run that. Running a double controller with Viper is a much higher skill ceiling, and it kind of looks like this. So I'll briefly go over it just so you guys understand how it's played, so you know how to go up against it, okay? Because maybe a team will run a Viper this week. Typically, they have their Sentinel and their Viper hold down C and B, and then the rest of the team aggroes A, and then they have this wall up on defense, and it's just basically a delay setup. So say we go up against a comp like this, how would we counter it?
Find out where to set up.
Break the alarm bot and like try to fight rebel a little maybe.
Try to bait out some util and take space by defaulting.
Yes, you need if you're ever playing against a double Sentinel or a like Sentinel and a Viper, because Viper kind of acts like a Sentinel in a lot of ways, then you need to play very default heavy. And Lotus is the kind of map where if you play like that, it will definitely be in your favor. So how do we actually default? And why is defaulting good? So Lotus is really cool because if you are playing smart and disciplined on your attack and you get control of all these areas here, you get control up to this point. Like you have control of all this. You can rotate quicker than the defenders to any site. If you want to go from A to B, you can go through the door and you're on. Whereas someone who's A has to go all the way around, or even here takes longer. If you want to go B to C, you can just go through the door. Just go back and forth, back and forth. So when you're playing against a defense-sided comp, like someone with a Sentinel and a Viper, you want to take advantage of the map design, where you want to bait out util, breaking alarm bot, breaking turret, baiting out a molly, right? And then rotating quickly, so the defenders just don't have time to rotate to the other side. So you have sight and you can set up your post plant before they can even adapt. Okay. So let's look at a round. That's enough theory for now. Let's look at a round and see how it's played. And as we'll see from these pro clips, there's a lot of different comps, a lot of different strategies. This one that I'm recommending to you guys is just going to be the best for our limited time of this, that we have to dedicate to this map. It's the easiest to just apply. So let's look at an example here. This is running Fade and the Viper and KJ, and this is pre-patch, so this Omen smoke is still a thing.
Like those really pacey attacks on Sunset and also on Bind.
Oh, and forgot to mention, when the enemies have a Viper on attack, they'll throw this wall. This is a lurk wall. So they'll use this to keep the rotates on your side over here, and it makes this rubble position less effective to hold, because what they can do is walk past it and not have to worry about this angle. It's a little tricky to counter this, but I'm not sure if teams at your guys' level are going to be able to abuse this very much. But just watch how the attack and their defense, watch their rotates this round.
Are they going to keep that same tempo going into this? C site open for the taking.
Killed my bot.
They got stalled out. That Viper Orb, that Paint Shells goes down. They can pivot if they need to. There's loads of time to work with, but they haven't explored the rest of the map yet. It's Chronicle. Had an insane performance last map on Bind. He is the one to defend on that A site behind Rubble. Boaster here to back him up. Paranoia as well, ready.
Out of all the players, he's the one you should be scared of. Shaking in your boots. But that shot wasn't clean, but Heroes was. Evades the seas, and Hero leans forward. Chronicle strikes, fighting.
So you can just see how powerful this Rubble angle is. It makes the attackers have to worry about two different angles at once. If you have another teammate fighting, kind of like Jiggle peeking this, then the Rubble guy can peek on a good timing. So it's really hard to deal with. You need some sort of util to clear this out, or you're going to get shot two angles at once.
Back with Venom to it. Zeltis and John QT now have nowhere to step. The spike got lost deeper. They've lost down the players. The Sheriff in Zeltis' hand is really the only caveat that's on their side.
Look at the radar right now. Just pay attention to how the defense is playing.
Left, time's getting low. Turret watches B. And Alpha could actually position himself towards C if he wants to. The rest of his team playing that retake on A. They have the numbers, letting Sentinels go for the site if they want it. Durka on this jump spot. Said, don't worry, Buster, I got this. 18 seconds left, and they've shown where they want to go. It's going to be so low in time by the time they can get anywhere, but Fnatic's just going to push out there before they can get the spike planted.
Retake, Zeltis, there's a moment. To shine! It was then! He gets two, he tries!
So this isn't really pertain to the map, but how did the defense play when they got into a 4v2?
They played their life because they knew that they had numbers and they were just playing for info and playing all together.
Yeah, you can see like the Raze is jump spotting very safely. We're aware of somebody possibly being C. We're together, and when we get the info that they have to go A, we know they're A. We're just gonna flood on the site when they tap spike. And even though this guy makes a hero play and gets two crazy kills, it doesn't matter because we're there to immediately trade it. So floods on Lotus are going to be your friend, flooding the site as they're planting, because it takes a while to set up post plants on this map. So if you're able to, and there's a lot of quick rotates that you can do, even if you're on defense. So if you're able to flood site with your team in any situation, that's usually the way to go. Okay. All right, let's look at, I use this round. This is going to show you how to default and rotate. Let's watch it. And comps, this one has a breach. We haven't seen a breach yet. And there's actually a Cypher on this team, which is interesting. But
Utility.
this is from the, like a few days ago.
Was it not yesterday?
Might have been, yeah. But let me go back to the beginning again, actually.
You can really work the map to your
Watch for the
favor.
breach.
You don't really have to
Breach
speed
is
up into
gonna
anything.
have stun ready here.
Use that recyclable utility. C space gathered here. A bit of a scrappy buy here from MIBR, so Viaton choosing to play at a distance, tap of the orb to bait out any potential trap plays here from MIBR.
Second time, third time's a charm.
Yeah. Interesting to put it on the Omen.
Yeah, I think they showed a lot of cool ideas with the Omen TP on Haven as well. So you imagine they've got something up their sleeve here.
A big key to success for Leviathan is King's individual performance. He puts up big numbers on that IGL roll.
Oh wait, we were watch partying this.
They tried to
Yeah.
push, so wait, let's see. This could spell danger.
So you see how crucial the breach is there. He shuts down this push, and now watch how the attackers react.
A suck nade, the trip. There's still another one further up, and now refresh smoke. The only place they've gained some space here is calm, towards A. He's got to be quiet. He's got to be careful.
Notice
Shadow's not far
Viper.
off. This kill is big. It's huge.
Just barely caught looking the other way. Now Shenami still has that paranoia online. The jump spot will give all of MIBR the info.
Yeah, I mean, time is of the essence. They don't really have a bunch of opportunities here.
But they're running into the judge. It's a stack play.
Now Tank on the other side. Argentine with so much to do and again overwhelmed. Corners closing in.
10 seconds left.
Managing to get the spike down. This was a lighter buy for MIBR, but there was enough investment to have a shot at this. But that window's just seemingly getting smaller.
Okay, so what do we notice from this round? What are some common practices these pros are doing that are good?
They had worse guns, so they tried to combo utility on C to
Take their time
set up
also.
kill.
I think the stun came too early. I feel like they would have got fallen for the fade if they didn't do the stun.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They stunned and then they ran back and then they threw the fade and raised you two.
Yeah, so Sticks had a good point. Like the raise nade does a lot of delay and can do a lot of damage. So using like you have a lot of util to work with in like our comp especially, so use that to your advantage. But this breach stun, yeah, Rex, I think it kind of depends how you want to play it, right? If that's kind of something you need to calm, like I'm gonna stun while they're coming into sight, or I'm gonna stun to delay. There's like a difference. The breach might have just wanted to deny the push, because it was probably a better play for here to trap because you have 3 people here. But it's interesting. There's a lot of ways to play it. And if we notice on this side of the map, we have a lurk. Okay, Lotus is the kind of map where lurks are pretty good, and this is why I don't like. At first, I thought Vise was going to be really good, but you kind of need that Sentinel, or that, if you're going to run a Viper, that Viper to have some kind of lurking ability, or else it's going to be hard to default on the map. So like Vise is a good is like very defense sided, can shut down pushes, and we saw Sentinels actually ran Vise, but it's really hard to lurk on Vise. So like our kit is not really made for that. Whereas like a KJ, you can set up like a turret and then kind of like lurk with the turret, set up alarm bots, and you can kind of lurk a little bit better. Cypher's probably Cypher's a really good lurker because he can throw cage. Viper's a good lurker because she can throw smoke. But anyways, this lurk opens up an opportunity for us to rotate. And even though it gets shut down, you know, it's still, we try to capitalize on a lurk, which is good. So, okay, I got just like a random play I want to look at that I thought was cool because I know both teams are probably going to be running Taeho here. So let's look at this one. I think this is this is the start of the round. So this is the Sentinels Vise, which is cool. But this is, both teams are kind of set up for A.
Looks like they want to do a bit of a trap setup here from the side of Sentinels. You have that Omen flash.
So basically the trap is when they're out, we're going to Taeho ult, and then we're going to Omen flash here because they have only one place to go. And then we're going to flood into them.
By Bang. And there's that Armageddon. A freebie onto DD's in.
I didn't know if they knew where Clementine was, but he's been found.
So honestly, I don't even think you need the smoke here. I think you can just, like, everyone just flood in. Like, when you want, you just send breach splash or breach stun, and then you send Omen flash, and then everyone just floods and gets the kills. And then that's a really cool